Hey everyone, it's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. Today on the show, we have our new friend Sarah with Contrasted Content. How are you today, Sarah?
I'm great. How are you, Jerry?
I am doing well. Did you do anything today, or you got any big plans for today?
Well, today is my mom's birthday, so we went and kind of hung out a little bit, gave her gifts and whatnot, and I've just kind of been getting ready for the interview and hanging out. How about you?
I've we've had a drum circle. We did 10,000 fledges this morning. We've got a big food distribution happening. Like usually every day we have a food distribution. And then I've got my grandkids with me this weekend. So,
Oh,
super happy about that. So
that's
you told
awesome.
me, before, we started that this might be your first interview. Uh,
Yes.
so, interview 101, tell us something about you and the project you're working on, your company, your stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. My name is Sarah Sanders. This year I started Contrasted Content. That is my brand name for my art that I do and the art projects that I'm coming up with. Um, and it's been crazy. It's been a really good year. It's been a crazy year to pick beginning a business and in my art. So it's been interesting, and I love every second of it. But yeah, I recently I just won a contest for the Social Gap experiment, the cover art contest. So that's really cool. I've been in the right now. I'm kind of taking these next couple months through the winter to kind of work on some more interpersonal projects that I kind of want to be able to share with time in the spring and things like that. So that's exciting. I'm in the process of helping produce a music video. I'm not going to talk too much about that
Mm.
but that's exciting. So that's going to be coming up in the next couple months too. And everybody that I've been working with for everything, I've met so many inspiring and creative people. It's insane. I love it. So
So, all right, I'm going to come back to what I wanted to ask you. Tell us something about you if you don't mind. Are you from Lansing? Are you from somewhere else?
Well, I'm actually originally from Mason, Michigan, but I'm kind of a Mason Lansing native. I've gone to college in Lansing, and I work in there a lot, so I'm always in and out of there. But yeah, I'm from Mason, and my big thing is fine art. I've always done a lot of fine art, and I do body painting. So I am one
Yeah.
of Mid Michigan's body painters, so that's exciting. And I've been getting to the point where I actually this year got a studio at the Cedar Street Arts Collective, so that's
Oh,
exciting.
shout out to Cedar Street Art Collective. We love them.
Yes,
So,
they are
you
wonderful
still
people.
there? Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Um,
I love it there. It's
so
great.
did you go to Mason High School?
Yes,
Did
I
you go to
did.
Mason High School? Yeah.
Yes,
We had
yeah,
one of your friends on yesterday, Morgan Madden, um, and he told us
yes,
about being another Masonite. Is that what you guys are called?
yeah.
Bulldogs or
Essentially,
something?
Mason Bulldogs. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
wh- what I was going to ask you before was why, what do you think is different about starting your business in 2020 with COVID going on or if you would have, do you wish you would have done it a year ago, or are you happy you did it in the midst of this?
Um, So it's definitely different. I personally am happy that I started this year because it's kind of for one aspect of it, it's kind of just the idea of being like, hey, like I started this during this pandemic that's going on. That's kind of a I'm kind of proud of myself for that because I feel like beforehand I was always nervous about just doing it in general to a point. I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if but I kind of just was like, well, I graduated college, I got to do something, and this is what I want to do. This is my life, like so I need to do it now, and it's been amazing. It's been an awesome journey, and I think it's definitely different. Simply because at least throughout the first wave of the pandemic, that's when I started kind of doing I was doing a lot of live streams and a lot of more posting and things like that, and finding ways to like do these virtual events and things along that sort. Um, and it kind of gave you this aspect of kind of pushing the virtual side of um, getting your brand out there and marketing that way in comparison to being able to go and just do all these outdoor events, because typically, especially for fine art, those outdoor going and meeting people and all this stuff, that's a big portion of it. So kind of taking that aspect away from it is definitely something that could be seen as a challenge, but I think with the technology and everything that we have now, we're kind of opening it. I think that the art movement in general you're gonna see a whole transformation of how it's viewed and everything, and with from the pandemic itself, just because of all the different platforms and the way that businesses are evolving their businesses and changing and adapting to all the restrictions. But it's all for a good cause. So um, I think to a point that after we get through it, we'll kind of see a broadening of everything, and it will kind of transform from there.
So with a lot of businesses, did you see the movie Forrest Gump?
Yes. I love
So,
it.
Bubba Gump Shrimp Factory or shrimp, whatever they were called, they go out, they get caught in that storm. All these other boats get wiped out in the process, and they become the only people catching shrimp. And so they become this huge company. And I think during COVID, you know, I'm amazed that you were brave enough to do it, but it was actually, so much the right move for what you're saying that, you know, other people are entrenched in the way they do things, and you get to invent no new ways of presenting fine art, new ways of getting to the crowd. What's been something really challenging where you thought you'd be like this, but now you're more like something else, like using that technology or whatever?
Well, I think honestly, I think the business model in general, simply because one good thing that I really love about doing your own business and kind of evolving your own business is the fact, especially in a creative career like art, is that I think that a lot of people have this idea that you have to have a niche or you have to have one thing that you potentially do, which I mean, a lot of people do great and they are very successful doing it that way. But I think that one thing, especially through the pandemic and everything, that people kind of uh, might forget is that, especially in creative careers, being able to adapt as you're going. So a good example would kind of be with what I do. I'm a body painter, but I also like to dabble in a lot of different areas. So I mean, I'm like I said, I'm working on helping make a music video currently, and I do body painting, but I do fine art, and I mean, with there's all different types of things that you can do, and being able to kind of be like, okay, I'm gonna do a body paint and do this event virtually, and then kind of being like, okay, I'm gonna change it up, and now I'm gonna go down this different avenue and see how people like that and see how people connect with this type of thing. Maybe I'm gonna do a sculpture, maybe I'm gonna try to do a live performance eventually, or something along the lines of that. There's so many ways that you can kind of take your creativity, because that's kind of the main root of it, is you have the things that inspire you and what make you want to create and do things in the first place, and you can take those and kind of maneuver down different avenues and express that in different medias and doing different things. And so being able to take your ideas and adapt to them in the medium and the way you're trying to display your message is kind of a huge thing, I believe. So
It, I've thought about it before, but for some reason, I didn't connect this when I was asking you that question. But this is shaping your vision, right? This is shaping what you're going to draw, what you're going to paint, what you're going to sculpt. Have you done anything that, like has the COVID virus right in the middle or whatever? I mean, I'm sure not that, but.
Well, I mean, originally, so with the cover art contest that I just won, that was actually a body paint that I had done on myself um, during the first wave. So that was something that was kind of a way to express um, my beliefs on how people when people work together to do the right thing, and come together to kind of get through problems that we have as a community, that we can kind of pull through things together. So that's kind of the main idea behind that. And I've definitely been working on a lot of stuff. I think that making things interpersonal to myself sometimes, with it's very important for artists to take that time and make sure that regardless of any other projects that you have going on, that you make sure to take the time to make things that are more relevant to you, because that's how people are going to connect with you and see your message. And that's really important. I've been working on that. So
That's amazing because that's actually become kind of common that people say, take care of yourself first and get your art out of the way, get your writing out of the way, get your planning out of the way. I So had you painted on yourself before? I know that tattoo artists will often tattoo themselves. Had you done that before?
I mean, I have painted on myself a couple times. I've done quite a few pieces in that regard, and I definitely plan on doing more. I love doing that. So painting on myself, painting on other people. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it scary to think about painting on somebody again? Because that's
Um,
kind of intimate, right? I mean,
so
yeah,
when you is scary and in a, or do you mean in a,
like a COVID way.
gotcha. Um, to a point, yes. And I think because usually, if I were to paint people through, because I mean, I have painted people through it, but it's usually people I'm very close with who, we know, we've screened everything, and typically I do contracts and things. So when I'm actually painting someone, regardless of COVID or not, you'd always have a set contract where you sit down, go through everything, and make sure that everything is set in place. And so, yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. But I know that painting, that's kind of a skill set that I'm glad that I have, is being able to paint on myself, because it kind of gave me a way to maneuver. I can still do the body painting, even though it's for through the social distancing. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, so there's so many questions I want to ask you. Uh, where does one go to school for fine arts in Lansing?
Well, I mean, I went to LTC.
Okay.
I went so through there. I know that originally I was considering going to Kendall. That's more Grand Rapids area.
Yeah.
That was I wanted to go there so bad. But I think as far as I can say with schooling, in regards to fine arts, I believe that it's important, and that school is an amazing opportunity. I think that it's important for artists to, especially now with the technology and everything that we have, keep in mind that making the right choices when you're going. So, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of stuff, at least from what I've experienced, since beginning my creative endeavors and then the business and everything that I've been doing, that you don't learn in school sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
kind of a learning. It's kind of, so I am kind of a person that believes jumping into it and kind of learning as you go, and being willing to go to the school that you need to do, but also doing research and learning from people who've been in industries and things online, that'll be very helpful. So
Yeah. Do you think that's where you got, because frankly, when I talk to a lot of artists, they don't consider themselves entrepreneurs. They oftentimes don't even have a name for what they're trying to do. But you're talking the language, you're talking a business language around this as well. Do you think school helped you with that?
I do. I mean, I definitely did take some business aspects to it, but a lot, through like my job, my day job, and everything, I work with business owners all the time, um, and I've kind of gotten to a point where I think that schooling is it definitely helps, but I think that it being an entrepreneur isn't one of those things where you have to go to school as an entrepreneur to do it. There's definitely different avenues and different ways you can learn around that if you really wanted to. But
Do,
school is always helpful with anything.
do you think that, like, could you make a case that what you do is essential as an artist?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Why?
um, well, I've actually talked with a lot of people or a lot of different artists and things in regards to this. And one of the things that we kind of say is, as an artist, the way the pandemic has kind of added to the industries. You have two different type of people. I feel like you have artists who kind of take this and maybe you know they aren't. It kind of like weighs them down a little bit, um, which is completely understandable to a point. But then on the other hand, it's kind of like there's definitely the artists who kind of realize that when society is going through a big challenge like we have been, that's when the art becomes essential, essentially, because not saying that art is definitely not important on a day-to-day basis in general. It is. It's a huge art is everywhere.
Yes.
But through trauma, I believe is when it's there. It's a form of comfort and a way to help keep people realizing that we'll be able to pull out of it and be okay. So it's absolutely an essential that we need to have by far. So that's what was keeping us sane during the lockdowns. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I uh I 100% agree with you. I wouldn't have asked you a question like that if I didn't think that you had a perfect answer, and that was spectacular. We can't escape art from everything that's around us right now, from your background to my background to the way these computers are designed. Artists are everywhere. Do you
Yeah.
think that, do you think like an artist is as important as a computer programmer?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
everybody wants their kid to grow up and, be a programmer or be a engineer or something, and the kids want to grow up and be artists. And um, what do you got to say about that?
A lot. So being so I from my own personal experience, when I was younger, I didn't really know I wanted to be an artist till the ending of high school, really. Um, Throughout school and everything, when I was a kid, I all I knew was I liked doing it. I mean, it was just something a part of my day to day, like coloring and making things and whatnot. It was just something I did because I just enjoy doing it. And I think that's kind of how a lot of people obviously would start out in these types of careers. And I think that art definitely has a stigma to it. And the fact of a lot of people have this, what a lot of people like to call a starving artist mentality is what I like to think of it. And personally, what I think is society's kind of made this thing where you think of, they want to be an artist. So they are like, okay, they want to sit and just paint, not really like do anything or go to school. And it's not really, that's not it. There's a lot more to it. It's not just about, it's about getting messages out there and building yourself and learning who you are and showing people who you are and showing people, things that you want to be able to portray that maybe you can't do it just by talking all the time, and being able to connect with people on different levels, and spreading awareness to things. And it's I think that a lot of people kind of take for granted um, the art and creative industries for sure, simply because of technology and the loopholes in regards to that for maybe entertainment, performance arts, but also fine art, and graphic design and things. They don't realize, and I think that that's one good thing about the pandemic too, is that in regards to creative industries, is that throughout this, it's made people kind of more appreciative of it, because to a point, a lot of people were leaning on that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, is there, I'm not even sure I understand or that I've asked you or put out there what your mission is, but is there something you do every day every damn day to push your mission forward, to push the needle forward on whatever that mission is? And what is your mission?
So, honestly, as of right now, my mission in general is just like kind of what I've been saying, getting my message out, being able to portray and connect with people as much as I can, and kind of eventually get to the point where I'm really um, getting across messages that I think that could help people, that have helped myself, and things along the lines of that. And every damn day, Jerry, I get up and I wake up and I listen to music on the way to work. And the whole thing about that is kind of getting yourself in a mindset. I think that that's a very huge thing. Making sure that every day when you get up, you're able to kind of look in the mirror, say, I'm going to do my best, get yourself in a really good, productive mindset, and sticking to it. Because sometimes your mindset can kind of go a little bit off track, and keeping it where it's supposed to be and is important. So, absolutely.
I you said listening to music like that, and it's funny because yesterday I had a vision that I was going to do a shout out to 92.1 The Stacks because they play everything I ever listened to when I was a kid. And so shout out to 92.1 The Stacks. What do you listen to?
I listen to all different types of genres. I feel like music, just like any other art form, is there's so much beauty behind any portion of it. I listen to a lot of rock. I listen to a lot of electronic music, pop music, classical music, even. I like a lot of um, bands like Alice in Chains and Seether and things along the lines of that. I also like a lot of electronic, like kind of what a genre called witch house, things like that, all different kinds of stuff. Electronic chill, like blackmail and all sorts of stuff.
Mhm. We had a dubstepper on the show. I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago.
Oh, awesome. That's really cool.
So yesterday we had Morgan, who I think you know Morgan. You guys are from the same town and all of that.
Yeah.
And he's got a question to pass on to you, as we do with every show. And his question for you was, if you could paint anything in the world, and I guess that could be a body, right? Then what who would you paint, and what would you paint on it?
So I think it'd be really, really awesome to paint an Amazon warrior in Romania. That'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool. Um,
Where does
yeah.
I didn't predict that answer at all. Where does that come from?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be a really cool setting. I've always kind of had this idea where I've wanted to go to Romania. There's all different, like, see like really beautiful architecture, the castles and all kinds of stuff in there. I think that'd be really cool. And then kind of being able to paint an Amazon warrior would be a good way to kind of I kind of I kind of have this thing for femininity, so being able to kind of paint a woman warrior, that'd be really awesome, I think.
Okay. So now tomorrow on the show we have a native of Lansing in the Waverly district, Amanda Brewer, and she's out working on Tyler Perry's new show as a producer. What question would you like to ask Amanda?
If she could produce anything in uh any part of the world, where would she would like to produce that? What would she do? That'd be really exciting to hear.
All right. And what would you like to produce? Any if you could produce anything in the world?
Um, I know it'd be kind of cool to be able to kind of experiment with more video work and audio things, and kind of making, video and audio work in different areas, maybe going to like Nevada that'd be really cool too. Kind of in the deserts in Nevada and experimenting with video and audio there. That'd be really cool.
Are you a Burning Man type of person?
I've wanted to go to Burning Man forever. I really want to go so bad.
So there's people from Lansing that go to Burning Man. Well, did they cancel it? What is the status of that?
I'm honestly not sure. It
Yeah, me
probably
neither.
was something that was held off for a little bit, but once we're done with this, yeah, definitely Burning Man is going to be a goal of mine. So,
Yeah. So I guess let me just take care of a couple things that I do for the Fledge every time in the show. Please subscribe to the Fledge's YouTube channel. We do every damn day at 2 p.m. We're doing 10,000 Fledges every Saturday at around 10:30 a.m. And we've got 99 Problems But a Pitch Ain't One every Friday at 9 a.m. Do you work on Fridays at 9 a.m.?
I do. I
Ah,
work Monday through Friday, yeah.
I'd love to hear a pitch from you at 99 Problems. So I always ask the guest at the end here, what's something that you want to take us out with? You got some advice? You've got, oh, shoot, let me actually back up a little bit. Um, I I just want to say to you, I really appreciate your entrepreneurial spirit and the way that you're pivoting and you're figuring out how to make this work. And I forgot when you were talking about you didn't know you were going to be an artist, until, at the end of high school. Um, I want to just put a shout out to everybody out there who's thinking about being an artist. Be an artist, right? It's okay. More outsiders come in and get in the game, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that one thing that I'd like to say, touching on that aspect too, is don't let anything that don't let anything get in your way. Don't let any fears or what anybody else will think or anything along the lines. If you like doing something, do it, and that's regardless of whether it be art, if you're going to go into a technology field, or if you want to go into a medical field or anything, just making a business in general. Don't I think it's important for people to realize that you do have the potential if you want, and for people, if they really, really want something bad enough, going and working for it and putting that time and giving them, that's what they can do it. Don't shy away from it if you're nervous. You can do it.
Yeah.
So.
And I want to add, so in fifth grade, I was going to Vivian Riddle at the time. They gave me a music test. They asked me if this note was higher than this other note and stuff like that. And I didn't even know what they were talking about. Nobody ever taught me about music my entire life. So I didn't know what higher note even meant. But then they just told me that I was tone deaf and to never do music. And I never did music my entire life. And I regret that. It's a regret I hold today. I probably should do something about it. But also, don't let people, if you know you got this, even if your drawing's a stick figure right now, get in there and practice and do the things, and don't let people discourage you, because they don't know what you don't know what you can do.
Yeah. And making
So,
sure too that surrounding yourself with people who care and support you is very important too.
okay. And are you affiliated with some organizations around Lansing?
Yes, I am an Opportunity Arts affiliate. So any artists that are looking for affiliations, go Mike Marriott. He's great. So I would highly, highly recommend. He's helped me so much. And I've done some work with Artist Umbrella too, here and there. They're great as well. So there's that as well. And then yeah, I'm kind of in the process of still kind of growing things and figuring out the loops. But yeah, so.
What about the Arts Council or any of those?
Yep, and then
Anything with them yet?
I have I have a studio at Cedar Street Art Collective as well, and they
Oh
are
yeah, right. We already said that.
amazing. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah.
So Anything more you want to take us out with? Any advice for an artist? Any advice for just an entrepreneur, for a young person in stuck in COVID hell right now?
um, well, I guess I could say, I mean, as in regards to my brand, with that, the advice kind of purpose. One of the things behind contrasted content when I was coming up with the name of the brand, one of the main things was I'd always had this thing with contrast, good and bad in life, and things like that. Um, I wanted to kind of portray that in my brand, and my main line that I kind of like to express is that contrasted content, like my purpose, is to remind us that without the contradictions that life brings us, that balance we wouldn't be able to achieve a form of balance. So through the negativity, and especially with COVID, there's a lot of, I think, one thing that we should focus a little bit more on is the mental, being able to kind of mentally, you know, keep ourselves to, you know, the mental stigmas behind it is something that I think that should be addressed a little bit more, because and being able to kind of use your creativity, and doing the things that you love and using the time that you have to invest in that can be a very positive outcome through everything. So that's what I would recommend, is focusing on the things you love and don't let anything stop you. So.
I love it. That is spectacular advice. And stay connected, everyone. Stay safe out there. We all struggle. We all have deep problems, and we all are scared. We're lonely. We're confused. We all deal with it. And don't think that being vulnerable is a bad thing. So get out there, be vulnerable. We got you. There's a lot of people around you that will help be there for you. This was lovely. Thank you so very much for being on the show.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jerry. Take care.
All right. And I will see you soon.
All right.